Welcome everyone to Heart Hearts podcast with Nate Frazier here on this Wednesday night, I'm sorry. But I'm so honored and glad to be here today with my special guest, this highly anticipated interview with this good man here, Felix Walls. But you already know how I do it before. I go into the interview. I got to give a shout out to the sponsors. Main sponsor, we thank Oasis Barbershop 4900, Washtenaw Ave in the city of Ann Arbor. They are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Everybody at that barbershop is certified. The atmosphere is good. Let them know when you go there that Heart to Hearts podcast, Nate Frazier sent you there. Also, Urban 360, Reawakening T-shirt design and apparel is our sponsor. They specialize in T-shirts, hoodies. Also, they can be reached also on Facebook. So just shout out to Oasis Barbershop, 4900 Washtenaw Avenue, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and also a shout out to Urban Reawakening 360, all right? CEO Roxanne Frazier. So listen, we're here tonight, all right, for this highly anticipated interview with my guest, Detroit native, correct?
Yes.
Detroit native, all right.
Of Arkansas and Wisconsin.
All right, Felix Walls, and just give y'all a little background, brother that I have met, and you were introduced to the streets at the age of 14, correct?
14, 15.
14, 15 years old. But I'm gonna let him tell his story, all right? And welcome. It's an honor to have you. It's a pleasure to have you here on the show. And just tell a little bit about yourself. Then we're going to get into your life journey, where everything began to where everything is right now.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the listeners for taking the time out to listen to the show. And I want to thank you for being one of the few people that I trusted enough to come on your show.
Yes.
I had been invited to do a lot of shows, and I turned them down. I had been invited to, people wanted to do documentaries on me, and I turned it down. They wanted to do a movie, I turned that down.
Wow.
And because I have a different life that I want to live, and I have different things that I want to do in life to aid and assist my fellow man, to uplift humanity.
Yes.
After here about 2 weeks ago, when I first started talking to you, they released, without my permission, somebody released a long video, and they called it The Yellow Man, but they mostly featured me and talked about me.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this brought back, when I lived in Arkansas, I was like 14 years old, and I had to leave my hometown because of a lie.
Okay. And
the lie endangered my whole family. And this is why I had to leave Arkansas. I was working. This European asked me to come and work for him, and right across the road from him was some real good people. They took care of me. They bought my school clothes and everything when I worked for them. So he asked me to come over and work for him. So I went over and I was working for him, and at the whole time that I'm working for him, he's got a double-barrel shotgun. So first thing, he wanted me to clean out a little smokehouse for him. And in this smokehouse, I killed 28 snakes.
Wow.
The last snake, it was a roll of meat wrapping paper. And I reached to grab the roll of paper, the snake came out and licked my hand. So,
how old were you then?
oh man, I was about probably like 13.
13 years old.
Yeah, I worked all my life. you know.
Okay, okay.
Ever since I was like 8 years old, my father had basically the only first black grocery store in Arkansas.
Okay,
So
okay.
I took my bike, put 2 baskets on it, wagon behind it, and I delivered the groceries to all the people in the neighborhood.
Wow. Let's go back to this documentary because you open up. They put out this documentary that you sent me on YouTube, and you had no clue about that documentary.
Not at all.
Okay, and it goes back in Detroit. It was a lot of things that was said in that documentary that you told me just wasn't true. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that they had said, because they said something in regards that it was a hit put out on you.
Yeah.
But you reversed the hit on the other person, and you said that wasn't even true.
That was not true. What happened?
And what year was that? I know it's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and it was like basically at the end of, it had to be in the 90s when this occurred.
Okay.
Like probably 91, 92.
In Detroit.
In Detroit.
Okay.
So me and this man and his family were very close. And unbeknownst to me, which I found out later after I investigated everything, that he had paid a total of 3 hitmans.
3 hitmen.
So, but none of them, they took the money, but they had no intention of fulfilling the contract.
Okay.
Because, I did a lot of things to help a lot of people. So I was very popular and somewhat at the same time feared,
Okay.
So they didn't follow through on it. So the last guy that he went to, he opened a briefcase and he had hundreds of thousands of dollars in his briefcase.
Okay.
So the guy killed him and took the briefcase.
Oh.
It wasn't a thing where, that's something that I ain't never heard of, where the hitman gonna come to you and tell you he do this and I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not one dime went to this man for me to reverse a contract on this man.
Okay.
That was a lie.
Okay.
That just like I said, I had to leave Arkansas because of a lie.
Okay.
So I was really fed up with people lying. Even when I got to prison, you know what I mean? The government and the warden and all of them, they started spreading a lie,
Okay.
And when I had 3 trials on this case, my first time when I got sentenced, I was sentenced to 30 years.
Okay.
I won the appeal. When I went back,
And in the first time, so people that are tuning in can get an understanding, the first time you got sentenced, what was the charge?
same charge.
Same charge with racketeering?
Yes.
Okay.
Same charge.
Okay, it's racketeering.
Money laundering.
Money laundering.
And racketeering.
Okay.
So
nothing never had anything to do with murder.
no.
Okay.
No. So when I went there, they turned around and tried me. I got a reversal the first time because the trial judge, me and his son, was partners in a gambling casino deal.
Okay.
So some people told me, I won't call their name, but some people, even though they dead and gone, I still won't call their name. They told me that the judge's son was a partner in the gambling casino deal.
Okay.
And when I found out this, I told it to my lawyer. My lawyer investigated it, and they told him the same thing. So this became a issue.
Okay.
Because during the whole trial, this judge was so bitter and evil.
Okay.
That I went in my cell and I prayed. I said, well, God, why is this man taking this so personal?
Mm-hmm.
So God revealed to me that he's my business partner.
Wow.
So I said, Lord, it's nowhere in the world this man could be my business partner.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would say, one thing that you have to believe when God says something. I have learned that when he says something, that is it.
Right. Right. Right.
Don't question it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's it. So I got a reversal based on that.
Okay. That's the first trial.
First trial.
You was they sentenced to 30 years. Okay, you got a reversal on that trial. So let's go back, because let's work our way up to that, because you said you got 3 trials.
Yes.
That you had. So 14 is when everything happened, though, right?
That's right. That's
okay. Right. Like 14 years old in the streets of Detroit.
Yeah.
What was going on at the time at 14? When did you get introduced that made you, as they call it, the street life? That drew you to that type of life?
All right. I lived at 1621 Taylor.
Okay.
Between Woodrow Wilson and 12th Street.
West side, east side?
This is the west side.
Okay.
Okay. At that time, Detroit was 12th Street was where everything was popping. That was our downtown for blacks. That's our downtown. Everything you wanted was on 12th Street. Everything you wanted to do was on 12th Street.
Okay.
So when I first came, you know what I mean, I wanted to just walk, and I done heard so much about 12th Street. I said, well, I'm going up there and take a look.
At 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was probably 15 at that time.
Okay.
So I go up there and walk around and see the prostitutes and everything on the corner. Guys, they pimping and going on. So, I go up there, and so the guys were sitting over there and they was heating up some wood in the barrel. The wine hose to keep warm. So I went over and I started talking to them. So they says, they passed me the wine bar. I said, I don't drink, So I said, you can give me some food. They say, food? They say, we don't give no food away. You know what I mean? We give you some wine if that's what you want. So he say, so a lady across the street nodded for him to bring her a couple of bricks. Okay. So now, this is way back, let's see, 70. This is like 68 years back now. Okay. Later on, in this day and time, brick means a different thing.
Correct.
Right. So he told me, say, take them over there and give them to her. So I go over there, give them to her. So the 2 bricks, so she give me a dime. They was a nickel apiece. Okay. I picked up the other 2 bricks and brought them back, because they had gotten cold. So I brought the other 2 bricks back. He put them in the barrel, was heating them up. So somebody else said they wanted a couple of bricks, so I took it over there and to them. So when I came back, I was giving him the 20 cents. So he said, no. He said, man, you is square. He said, man, take the 20 cents, go over there to the hamburger place, which the 12-cent hamburgers at that time was something like 3 cents or 5 cents a piece, So he said, man, take that and go over there and get you some hamburgers and everything, He said, that's on me, man, So every day, I go up there and sit, talk with them, and, they would, always let me make money, So then, this being up and down 12th Street, I got known as the Brick Boy.
Okay.
You know,
at 15.
at 15.
Okay, the Brick Boy.
Yeah. So now I'm turning around, taking all these bricks to them. So then, you know, it became a thing where the prostitutes would be clipping the tricks. So while they clipping them, they got credit cards, this, that, and other.
Wow.
So they would say, you know anybody want these credit cards? So I said, no. So then one of my family members say, man, you know, you need to holler at them girls and see if they got some ID.
Okay.
So I said, what do you want the ID for? He said, that's all right if you can get it. So
okay.
I would go to them. They would sell it to me for, you know, $10, $15, sometimes $5, you know. So I would get the ID, take it back and sell it to them. So now the credit cards led off into another thing of me using the credit cards, going cross country, buying truckloads of stuff down the highway, buying from the stops, you know,
okay,
with these trucks. So that's how I got introduced to being involved in crime from that level.
Okay.
You know.
So you learned organized crime at a very young age.
Well, see,
through credit cards and being slick, you know, and they didn't even know because you were so young at the time. So,
well, see, I had elderly people that were working with me.
Wow.
Because, you know, I couldn't, like you say, I was too young to go and say, this is my car.
Yeah, correct.
So I had elderly people working with me, and they got a percentage of everything that was being done. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, you know, that came up to be, then I went from that to selling cars, selling furniture, where you could get a house if you wanted a house. If you wanted to rent one, you could get one.
So you started with that basic.
Yeah.
Then you went to selling cars?
Yeah.
Like, how was you getting cars?
Well, at first,
and houses?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, this is like, by that time I was like, probably like 17 or 18 when I started selling these houses.
But you're still young.
Yeah, but you know, when you, see, I grew up putting things together.
Okay.
When I was in Arkansas, I couldn't pick cotton. So I had to create my own job.
Okay.
So my own job was, I took care of all the elderly people.
Okay.
So all the elderly people got a check.
Okay.
I would go there and I would work and I would feed their cattle. I would, if they needed a house built, like a room built on their house, they needed a barn built, I built it.
Okay.
If it needed to be wired up electric wise, I did it.
Okay.
Anything they needed done, chicken coop, any of that, I did.
Just a jack of all trades.
Everything. I learned all of this.
Wow.
while I was there.
So you really started taking care of your stuff at a very, very young age. And also you were taking care of your family, it sounds like, and everybody else you were taking care of. Okay, so that led you to that crime. I mean, the organized crime led you from credit cards, where you said now you got to selling cars. Now, how did you get these cars? How did you get your house? How did you go about maneuvering and getting these cars in the house?
It was a guy named Red Claybrook.
Okay.
Red Claybrook was he was a genius in the car business.
Okay.
So I liked him because he always talked loud and had a pocket full of money, you know. And he drove a new Cadillac every year. He bought a new Cadillac.
Okay.
So he had this car lot. So I told him, I said, Red, let me work with you on these cars. So I said, teach me about this car thing. So he was teaching me, and I'm bringing the customers to him, you know, because I'm going everywhere getting customers, bringing them to him. So he's, you know, selling them the cars because he he got hooked up to get him financed and everything. You know?
Okay. So you were kind of like the middleman.
Yeah.
Okay, with all this stuff. So back then, did you make it easier because of the connection and what you were involved in for people to get housing than say going through a finance company?
Yes.
They came to you,
Yeah.
and you can get the job done.
I can get the job done. I had a real estate broker.
Wow.
That,
You had a real estate broker working with you?
Yeah. That he was the one helping me push the deals through.
Wow.
You know? So I was bringing him so many customers because, see, 12th Street, let me back up for a minute. When I first came to Detroit, right, every day I would get up and I would walk the city.
Okay.
I ain't had no car, so I had to walk. So I basically walked the entire city of Detroit. Like my sister lived in Southwest Detroit, and I lived on Eltham Street. So she lived on Eltham Street, I lived on Taylor Street.
Okay.
So I would walk all the way out there because I want to learn this city. I want to learn everything about this city. So I would walk all the way out there. My girlfriend lived on Pennsylvania, which was the east side. So I'm babysitting my little nephew. So I strolled him all the way over to her house.
Wow.
You know?
So you way before, so you know how people talk about White Boy Rick, Young Boys Incorporation, the trailer. You way before them. They even came on. You was already in the game.
I was already in the game because the way I got into the drug game was I had an old friend of mine that we were very close. At that time, I was selling cars.
Okay.
But they were stolen cars. At that time, I went from legal cars to stolen cars.
Wow.
So I changed the numbers and all of that and put a title with it, and I was selling cars. So
wow.
He bought a car from me.
Okay.
Then he bought another car from me. So the guys started robbing him. So me and my partner, Gray Eye, he said, look, man, they taking all my money and this, that, and other. So we became his bodyguard.
Okay.
Me and Gray Eye did.
Okay.
So after me and Gray Eye became his bodyguard, he didn't get robbed no more.
Okay.
Because, so then he started having us sit at the table just like we are right now.
Yeah.
And here, get these to the customers when they come in.
Okay.
So now we doing all of this, right? But we ain't really making no money. Gray Eye making money because he taking him a cut.
Gotcha.
But I would never do it because me and the guy was friends. So I said, no, I ain't gonna do it, Gray Eye. Man, Phil, look, man, listen, man, you putting your life on the line and you deserve more than what he giving us,
Okay.
So I went to the guy one day and I told him, I said, look, man, I need 10 grand. I've been helping you and I need 10 grand to get some things done. He said, no, I don't loan no money, So I said, man, as much as I done done for you, you mean tell me you would not advance 10,000 to me?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, I don't do that. So I said, dude, you wouldn't have nothing. I said, that's okay. We ain't got to talk about it no more.
Right.
So me and Gray Eye packed up and left. So they started back to robbing him again. So he want me and Gray Eye to come back and be his partner. I told Gray Eye, I said, no, never in life will I be that man's partner on nothing.
Right.
I said, because I was talking to him about, these things, and he didn't want to loan me not even 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And we got all kind of money on the table at the end of the day.
Making a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Gray Eye would take him $500 to $1,000 a day.
Wow.
That's the kind of money he would take off the table.
Okay.
So he knew he was taking money, but
Okay.
he was too
So-
afraid to say anything.
Okay.
to Gray
So
Eye.
Greyhound was bold. He was getting his
He was
regardless.
getting his.
Right. All right. Regardless.
And he would, when he left, he would say, "Here," I said, "Nah, man, look." He would throw it on the seat, that kind of thing, But that's what led me to be in the game.
Okay.
Working with him.
Okay.
So then, another friend of mine, that used to come up there, he said, "Man," he said, "if you could put together a hookup," he said, "Man, we can get rich." So I went on and I knew some people in Cali. So I went and talked to them, and they said, "Yeah, whatever you want to do."
Okay. In California, you said?
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So you were all the way in Detroit making connections in California.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You carried a lot of weight back then, didn't you?
Yes, indeed.
A lot of weight you carried. And
Well-
you had so many different connections.
Well, see, the
With
mayor.
politics too?
Oh, yeah.
Political people?
Well, see, the mayor at that time, right? He
Okay.
always had a joke that he told because we had the same color cars,
Oh, okay.
same type of limousine. So he said, he the nighttime mayor, I'm the daytime mayor.
Wow.
That was his joke. Right?
Okay.
But even though, you know what I mean, it all turned out for his better because the government was trying to set him up on a reverse sting.
Okay.
One of the first.
That's before Mayor Coleman Young.
Well, I ain't gonna say who it was.
Okay,
But-
I got you. I understand.
But anyway, they tried to pull a reverse sting on him.
Okay.
So I went to my lawyer, and my lawyer called him and let him know that he had some information that he needed to know.
Okay.
So he said, "Well, okay." So about an hour and a half later, he came. So he said he needed to tell you something. So I said, "No, you can tell him, because I took my lawyer to the car. We running ahead of a few things, but I had took him to the car, and when I pressed the phone, you know what I mean, the dude used my phone in the car.
Mhm.
He had rented my limousine for that day, and he wanted me to go with him. He was going to some auctions and so forth. Because I used to go to auctions all the time and buy stuff.
Okay.
So I went with him, and when he picked up the phone, he said, they said, FBI. So I said, "Damn, you ain't supposed to be calling no feds, because I'm sitting just like me and you sit,
Yeah.
So he asked them, he say, "Look, I need to get that key. Did y'all get through with the wire?" He said, "The meeting is tonight, So immediately, as soon as I put him out, I headed straight for my lawyer's office, right? I told him to come down to the car. I hit the redial on that, and it said FBI. I cut it off. He said, "Felix, what they doing on your phone?"
Wow.
I say, "Man," I say, "this is what I come to tell you, man." I said, "They setting up a sting."
The FBI was.
Yes.
Now, from 14 up until 30, you was, hustle, you were doing your flow, you were doing your thing. And at 30, is that when you found out the FBI started watching you?
Oh no, they was watching me way before then.
Oh, way before then?
Oh yeah. I got busted in 1968. I got busted in 1968.
How old were you?
Shit, I had to backtrack to count it up. I was young.
So the FBI was on you that young. So you had to be about what, 18?
I must have been about 20.
About 20?
20 something.
Okay.
21, maybe 22, something.
Okay.
Like that.
And so they got on you before that.
Oh yeah, they was on me. They was on me about the car business.
Okay.
So I go all the way back to the car.
Yeah, okay, because
you
you
know,
was saying you was getting the stolen cars, changing the titles, the serial numbers, and everything else. Now, were you selling them outright cash to these people?
Cash.
Wow.
So it was cash because the insurance company, like, say I had a person, right, that wanted to buy a car.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't have no money, but he put insurance on it. And 30 days from now, you know, a car come up missing, the insurance company pay you.
Oh.
So
Okay.
all my business was cash anyway.
Okay,
you
okay.
know.
It's smart,
Yeah.
you know, as a shrewd businessman. Like y'all knew you knew what you were doing, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You definitely knew what you were doing.
I was a pro at doing wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So at 22, the feds got on you. When did they actually catch up with you to the point where you got indicted?
I got indicted for, I sold a guy a stolen car, a Cadillac,
Okay.
down in Ohio. He told me that I sold him the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he had called me several times. See, if I sell you a car, in 30 days, you have to give me that car back.
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the insurance company pay.
Okay.
So this guy, he fell in love with the car.
Mm-hmm.
He took it to Cadillac to get it fixed, which I told him not to never do.
Okay.
But he took it anyway to Cadillac service.
Okay.
When they took it to Cadillac service, they turned around and ran the check on it, and they say, "Oh no, this serial number here don't go with this car."
Wow.
You
Okay.
know?
So that's how you begin.
And that's how I got busted.
That's how. Wow.
He told.
Oh, he told on
Yeah,
you.
he told on me.
Okay. Now, let me say something about, because you know the saying today, and I'm pretty sure you heard that in prison when snitches get stitches. Now, was it the same back then? You just didn't tell on people. You didn't snitch on people.
You don't.
That's something that has always been.
I'm glad you brought that up, because after I had my second trial, right, I came back to Lombard, United States Penitentiary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the guys that was telling on me from out of Cali, he was with one of the gangs from out there. So while he was testifying, he got real cocky on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
The second trial, I tried the case myself.
Okay, you tried to catch yourself
Yeah.
the second trial.
Yeah, because the lawyers, they didn't want to do what I wanted them to do, so I just tried it myself. When in actuality, I wasn't supposed to try the case myself,
Mm-hmm.
but the judge I had forced me to try the case.
Okay.
See, I wanted to talk to the jury, but I didn't want to take the stand.
Gotcha.
I wanted to testify in my own behalf,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't want to get on the stand.
Got you.
So I put together, you know, like knowing the law.
Mm-hmm.
You study all the different advantages that you have.
Right.
So at that particular time, I said, well, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the opening statement to the jury,
Mm-hmm.
tell them that I'm innocent. This way I can't be cross-examined because I'm making the opening statement. So I made the opening statement. So the judge, being a man, I've never had anybody hate like this man.
Okay.
So anyway, he turned around and said, no, I'm not going to allow you to let the lawyer take over. He said, you started this and you're going to finish it.
Mm.
So he wouldn't let me,
Okay.
he wouldn't let the lawyer take over. See,
He wanted you to finish it.
he made me finish it.
Okay.
Because sometimes you deal with people, right, and they are very shrewd
Mm-hmm.
at being maneuvering.
Right.
Like man, a legal mind is something to deal with.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
So he knew that I had helped another guy, and he used my strategy, you know. And when I did mine, they was already away.
Okay.
So that's why they cut it off and wouldn't let me do it.
Okay.
But
And that's the second trial.
yeah.
Okay.
But at the end of the second trial, he ordered the jury to convict me. He stood up and gangstered the jury because
Isn't that like unethical for a judge to get up?
the man that I had, he don't care nothing about ethics. There's no such thing as ethics in his court.
He got up and told the jury, I demand you convict this man.
I swear to God. He did like Al Capone with a baseball bat in his hand. Only thing, he looked like he had a machine gun.
Wow.
He instilled so much fear in that jury, they went and came back in 5 minutes and found me guilty.
Wow.
That's how quick. On a 2.5 week trial.
Wow.
And then before that, he told them, I'm ordering you to forget the last 20 minutes of the defendant's argument. So I kept telling him, you know, I kept objecting to him referring to me as defendant. Because if you refer to me as defendant, that means that I have to defend.
Right.
In a court of law, if you charging me, I don't have to defend nothing. All I have to do is sit there.
Right.
So he kept calling me defendant because basically psychologically with a subliminal teaching, he's telling them that he ain't defending.
Right.
So he guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get down to the point. He told the jury, at the closing of the case, he told them, he said, I want you to treat this as if this is the most important decision of your life.
So let me ask you this. Did the judge know you personally? Because it sounded like it was personal.
Well, you got to understand something. All of them is brothers of the oath, man. So that means that when I got the reversal, because the other judge's son was my partner,
Okay.
all them down there had animosity. And a lot of the judges didn't want to try the case because they knew it was going to be a hard tried case when it come to me.
Okay.
Because I'm going to fight
Right.
to the bitter end.
Right.
You know, I ain't giving up nothing, you
Right.
know. So now I'm fighting all the way to the bitter end on this case.
Mm-hmm.
So they saying, oh man. All the judges in that courtroom said, we don't want that Walls case. They gave me to one judge, and when I got finished with her, she immediately paused the case, went back in the back and made a phone call. She said, I am no longer your judge. I refuse to sit on this case.
But are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. Because what happened was,
Wow.
she arraigned me, right?
Uh-huh.
So I told her that I don't want to be arraigned today. I want, give me a postponement, give me some time so I can prepare
Right.
for the arraignment.
Okay.
So she said, no, I'm arraigning you today, you know? So she said, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find you not guilty. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, and I'm going to set this down for trial, you know? So I said, may I address you, please? She said, yes. And my advice to you is go hire a lawyer. I said, may I address you, please? She said, yes. I said, Your Honor, do you know what you just did to me? She said, yes. I arraigned you. I entered a plea for you. And and set a trial date. I said, what you did is this. I said, only one time in life I saw this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I was going down south, I got a speeding ticket. The police officer came in, put the black robe on. This is in 1962. He put the black robe on. He got up on the bench and he said, how you plead? I said, man, what do you expect me to do, man?
Right.
So he took the robe off, come back down, read the ticket into the record as a police officer.
Wow.
He went back up on the bench. He said, now, the city charged you with this, and this. How do you plead? So I said, Your Honor, I said, no matter which way I go, ain't no win here.
Right.
How much money you want?
Right.
You know? So I was telling her that what you did was you acted as if you were my attorney.
Yeah.
And entered a plea for me.
Yeah.
Then you acted as the prosecutor, read the charges out, and then you turn around and enter a plea and set a trial date. I said, I don't know nothing in the world more unconstitutional than that.
Exactly.
So when
and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah. So when I told her this, right? She went back in the back and came back and said, I am no longer your judge, and another judge will be appointed. They transferred her to Saginaw and brought the villain in to deal with my case.
Wow.
So that's what they did. And they put my case as the first case on his docket.
So they just knew you wasn't no joke.
Yeah.
They knew you knew your stuff. You know, because when you went in, and you went in at the age of 50, correct?
Yes.
Okay, 50 years.
Like 49, 50.
49, 50 years old. That's when you went in. Now, remember you telling me that the day you went in there, you went into that law library. What made you go to the law library?
My lawyer told me, he said, Felix, he said, only thing I can tell you, the kind of person that you are, you need to go to the law library and you need to learn the law. He said, you need to learn how to defend your rights. And wasn't nobody in the law library, it was always closed.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, give me a job in the law library.
Okay.
And they did. They gave me the job in the law library, you know.
Okay. And through there, you start studying. Because what was it about your case that you said, hey, I'm getting out of here? Because at that time, did they give you had received a life sentence that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had received 30 years at that time.
30?
No.
Okay.
When I went to work in the library, remember I told you I got busted with 4 keys like in 1968.
Okay, 4 kilos.
So
okay.
That was my first trip to the prison.
Okay.
In 1968.
1968. How many years did you do there?
They gave me 10 years.
Okay, you did your 10.
No, I got a reversal.
Oh, you got okay.
Yeah, I got a reversal on that too.
Oh, wow.
I'm in the library now.
You did that on your own too?
Me and my lawyer.
Lawyer, okay.
So, and I always find my cases and shoot them to the lawyer.
Okay.
So, I'm in the, so I find the perfect case when I'm in the law library. But I knew that I was going to get a reversal. But all the guys in there, they were saying, man, you ain't going to get no reversal, bro. Drug cases is hard to overturn.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm going to get one.
Right.
So the judge, me and him was on the same elevator together.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was on the elevator together, So he said something, and you know what I mean, I cracked back on him. I said, he said, it says, it's amazing seeing you here. That's what he said to me.
Okay.
So I said, well, it's amazing seeing you here without a robe on.
Right.
So he said, oh, you got to take the robe off sometime. I said, I'm talking about that Klan's robe that you got in your heart.
Right. Wow.
Oh, man. So when I said that, I said, you know, I said, man, I'm going to tell you something. I would have got a fair trial in Mississippi with the head of the Klans as judge on my case. I said, I'd have got a fair trial with that. He said, so the little girl on the elevator, she was crying. She said, because we jostling backwards and forwards between me and him, you know, throwing lugs at each other. So the girl said, Judge Case, I demand that you defend yourself against these horrible accusations. He said, oh yeah, we gonna tar, feather, and hang him. Now, even as a joke, he shouldn't have said that.
No,
You know?
not even as a joke.
So when I go so the next day when I go to put it on the record, he starts hollering and screaming, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I reached and got the marshal by the arm. I said, now you tell him what happened on the elevator.
Okay.
Man, he stood up with his gavel and hit on it so hard, the head of it flew out there where we were, right?
Wow.
He said, if you say one word in this courtroom, you'll never see the light of day in your life again. That's what he told the marshal, right?
Wow.
So the marshal did like this. I said, tell him what it is, man. He calling me a liar, and I ain't even said what happened.
Right.
I said, so you know what happened? So the marshal just dropped his head and shook his head, right? So he ran back in his office, right? So my lawyer and the prosecutor went back there. So he stayed back there for a while, and then he came back. He said, he gonna allow my lawyer to make the record for me. So my lawyer said, well, Your Honor, I don't know what took place, you know, between you and him. He said, maybe you should say what time we went.
No, we good.
Say maybe you should make the record, you know.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not making no record about nothing. It's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. You know, he went through the ritual, you know. So I jumped up, I said, you know what? I said, then I'll make the record. And then and I'm willing to take a polygraph on what I'm saying.
Right.
Man.
He didn't want to do that, did he?
That shut it all down.
Right.
So he went on and convicted me.
Anyway.
Without letting the lawyer have closing argument in the case.
Wow.
So
he had it in for you.
Yeah.
You know, he had it in for you anyway. Okay, but you were in there for, when you got indicted, you got convicted at 49, 50 years old. You were in there for 27 years.
Yes.
27
27
years.
and 3/4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all that time, I remember you telling me you was going to the library, you was working. People were telling you that was in there, ain't no way you getting out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you might as well forget it, throw in the towel. You kept working and you kept working. So when it came up for that, how did you get out? How did you get out? Because you worked on getting yourself out.
Well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
When I went back to Lompot, right? The prosecutor, remember I told you the guy was real cocky on the stand.
Yeah.
Right? So another guy had gave me history on, that was in prison with me, gave me the history on these 3 witnesses' family, and that they was, you know, big drug kingpins, and the whole family was. So I turned around and I cross-examined him, and he got cocky with me on the stand, and he said, yeah, he said, I told on you, you know. So I asked him a question. I said, did you tell the prosecutor you were a major informant for the prosecutor, am I right? Yes, I am, and I told on you. So I said, okay. I said, that's fine.
Right.
Now, what I want to do is examine how many people you talking on. I said, but we're going to start with your father, your mother, your brothers, and all of them. Did you inform on them? So he said that, he said, I don't have to answer nothing you say. So I said, okay. I said, listen, I said, you think, because you 3,000 miles away from California, that don't nobody know who you is. I said, I know where you stay. I know where your mother stay, your father stay, your brother stay. I know where your whole family stay. I said, you want the address? So
You told the informant that?
yeah, which was a mistake now.
Wow.
Because
You was that bold?
I was angry.
Okay.
I did it out of being angry,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Because, see, that's the problem with having a lawyer to present something
Yeah.
than versus yourself.
Self. That's
You
right.
know?
That's right. That's
See,
right.
the lawyer could have ate him up on that.
Yeah.
You know? So then he got there and he said, Mr. Walls, man, my family ain't got nothing to do with this, man. This prosecutor made me come back here and testify against you. I ain't want to come, man. So I said, well then, you up there all cocky and everything, like you satisfied with all this that's going on.
Exactly.
You know? So the judge said, well, move on. You know what I mean? He done already admit. I said, yeah, but he admitted that the prosecutor, he said, move on. We through with that part of the cross-examination, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got back to Lompart, they done moved his brother from another prison back to Lompart.
Mm.
Now, they done gave his brother a transcript that I'm testifying instead of his brother doing the testifying. They got a transcript saying I testified. So now,
Wow.
really, I'm walking the yard, don't know nothing.
Okay.
So I'm on the yard this particular day, and the guy who gave me all this information, so I tell him, I said, look, man, I say, I owe you an apology, man. I said, I got mad in the courtroom, and I had to check this guy, man. I said, and I mentioned your name. I said, so, you know, I apologize to you for that. He said, you went to trial? I said, yeah, hell yeah, you know I went to trial. He said, well, that ain't what they saying around here. So I said, what you mean what they saying around here? He said, Dad's brother is right there.
Wow.
So I walked, so now I noticed this guy always be hawking me,
Mm-hmm.
and he got 2 or 3 people with him all the time. So I walk over to him, so by the time I walk over to him, about 10 of his gang members come over there, right? So now really, I'm walking a death sentence.
Right.
Because they saying that I done testified against one of their major people, right?
And that was a lie. They made that up.
A lie, a total lie, you know? So I turn around and I say, you got a transcript, man, saying that I testified against your brother, man? And I said, man, your brother's name is so-and-so. I said, I got a transcript in my cell, man. I said, on the next move, I'm going to get this transcript. And I said, in fact, I'm going to bring all my transcripts out here.
Mm-hmm.
So now all these dudes, right, all he had to do was snap his finger and I would have been dead.
Right.
So now they standing back in awe because they saying, is this man telling the truth?
Right.
You know? So I said, listen, the transcript I'm going to bring out here to you, bro. You can't go buy the one you got, you can't buy it nowhere. But you can make a fake one up, but you can't buy it nowhere.
Right.
But the one I got, I said, you're going to be able to go and get this transcript from the clerk's office, and I'll pay for it. But I'm going to give you a copy of mine, and then I'm going to pay for you to get one for your own from the clerk's office.
Okay.
And I want you to give me a copy of the one you got. So for about 3 or 4 days, I'm steady asking him, man, what you going to do about that transcript? I done gave you a copy of mine. I want a copy of that one. So he talking about, man, I got to find that thing, man. You know, You know, so now he don't want to give me this transcript because this is something that they done put out there. Because remember now, this case that I'm on, we got some heavy officials. They relatives is my partner in the gambling casino.
Got you.
So now
Got that connection there.
So now I'm walking, man, and you know, every day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't see what really is going on,
Mm-hmm.
but it's some people that know that's close to me, and like this guy, he's a gay guy, used to do all my typing.
Okay.
So he came and he told me, he said, Mr. Walls, he said, you know, you gotta watch your back. So I said, well, what's up? This is before I found out about the transcript.
Okay.
So he said, well, that's all I'm gonna say, you know, cause I ain't trying to tell nobody's business. I'm just telling you that, you know, cause you all right with me. So I let it pass. But before I go back on the reversal,
Uh-huh.
a European guy who I was real cool with, I filed a motion. This is when I was waiting on the reversal.
Okay.
A police gets killed in the prison. Before the stabbing and all of this went down, and like it was about four or five police got seriously hurt, you know. So I had filed a motion before that
Mm-hmm.
because in Lompot, it was, man, listen, the warden was so evil. Like, they had some terrible stuff going on there. And it's like a dark cloud was over the whole prison.
Okay.
It was, everybody was so tensed up, you know. Like, I don't even want to tell you what happened like 2 or 3 days after I was there, you know. Guy got butchered right on the yard for just a little bit of nothing, really.
Wow.
Because he was on the bar exercising. The guy told him, you know, look, I'm exercising here, you know.
Wow.
So, in a low tone.
That's when you got, that's like the day you got there?
Like about 3 or 4
3 or
days
4 days.
later.
So you saw a guy actually just get butchered.
Yeah.
Right there on the yard.
Yep. So, anyway, I turned around, man, and I filed a motion. They put a little young friend of mine in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I filed a motion in his behalf. And I was explaining how the warden was running this prison and that, you know, it's a danger to inmates as well as staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's telling me, and I asked him about it one day when he came through the unit.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me if I say another word, first he gave me permission to speak, to address him. Then he said if I say another word, I'm gonna put you in the hole and throw the cell away.
Wow.
You know? So I put the motion in because I felt as though that the tension that was on that prison, that it was going, man, that it was going to be a bloodbath there before it was over with, you know. So when I filed that motion, they were saying they were going to get a guy the death penalty. So behind the motion that I filed, you know, they took it and hid the motion because the motion was so, I wrote the motion when I was at a spiritual high. Okay. And the motion, you know, I talked about how the prison had a dark cloud over it, that it was so so much tension there. Yeah. It was so thick that you could cut it with a knife. Right. And I said, if you cut through that black cloud that's over there, when the air come through, the pollution would kill everybody in prison. Wow. And I told him, I said, it's gonna be a massacre in this prison before it's over with, the way that it's being ran. So when this jumped off that day, you know, like I say, one got killed, another one stabbed, another one ran into the bars and broke his shoulder and got himself a concussion. whole lot of havoc. So anyway, they were saying, we're going to get the death penalty on this. So now I called, had somebody from the street to call and let his lawyer know to pull that motion up that I filed.
Okay.
So I said, because they drove this man insane, you know. The lawyer filed a motion to have him declared insane. The government, you can be crazy as hell. They gonna still send you to prison or whatever.
Right,
But
right.
to keep everything down, they didn't follow it.
Okay.
So now, the European tells me, he said, you know what? He said, you just took the target off of his back and put it on yours.
Wow.
Which is true.
Okay.
Because, man, my imprisonment was nothing but hell.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because see, you gotta understand that when I came back there, they already saying that, and see, prison is a difficult place to be. When I was on the street, I was like a one-man army.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to prison, I'm one man facing an army.
Because they already got the system set up.
They got a system.
And then you
set
got
up.
this click over here, this click over here.
And see, the worst thing about it, like, I'm the one that put the shot caller thing together. I put it together in Terre Haute, Indiana, and it spread it from there across the system.
Wow, really?
So now, when I put the shot caller system together,
Okay.
it was because a brother died in his cell.
Mm-hmm.
We had a ministry going that was called Interfaith Service.
Okay.
So they would always call me to come down there and speak, you know. So I took the Interfaith Service and I got different brothers from different cities and say, look, man, we gotta. So anyway, the guy that was having a heart attack, he was calling the police to come and take him out of the cell that he was having a heart attack. So the police come down there and he said, well, as loud as you hollering, you couldn't possibly be having a heart attack. So he's gonna make a medical opinion instead of getting the man some help. So the boy laid down and died. And when he went down there, he thought he was sleeping. The second time when he made his rounds, he thought he was sleeping. That next morning, you know what I mean, the brother was dead.
Mm.
So they was protesting, the guys from his city.
Mm-hmm.
They was protesting. So I talked to the guy, I said, man, why didn't you let us all know that you was doing this so we all could have not went to the Thanksgiving meal? So he said, man, you can't trust all of these Negroes in here and these inmates, man. He said, we just did what we had to do on our own. So from that, I started getting different brothers from different cities to head up their own city.
Okay.
And if anything wrong or you get put in the hole, we gonna all, you know, go and talk and see what the problem is, you know.
And that's spread around all different cities,
all
different prisons.
all through the prison system.
Wow, that's awesome.
So now when I come back,
Okay.
I see the shot caller situation. I said, damn, Lord, what kind of system is this? God said, well, you the one that set it up. So I said, I ain't set that up.
Right.
So then I laid down and I had to think about it. I said, you know what? I did put this together a long time ago, you know? But that's like right now, in the system, they don't talk to, they talk to the shot caller, you know?
Gotcha.
So,
But that's something really good you put together, though.
It was good,
You know
but
that spread it though.
But it ain't like it used to be.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into how it is now.
Okay.
But it ain't like what it was when I put it together.
Okay.
And it doesn't meet the purpose of what I put it together
Got
for.
you. Okay.
You know.
Back then it was more effective, is what you were saying.
It was very much effective.
Okay. And just the way things has changed. So go in 50, did your 27 years. You got it reversed, correct? The sentence reversed?
Listen, I had 3 reversals on that case.
3?
3. And I got life put on me 2 times after the Court of Appeals told the judge to take the life off of me. He gave me life again. He said, you think you slick, and I'm going to give you life again. So he gave me life again. So I had 17 motions on his desk. Now these motions had been sitting on his desk for 20 years. He would not rule on them because if he ruled on them, he got to release me. So he called me back to court and he say, if you dismiss these motions, he say, the lawyer came to me and he said, look, if you dismiss the motions, the judge said he will let you go. I said, no, I'm not dismissing these motions. So I'm fighting to give my daughter a kidney because she got to have a kidney. So now the BOP is denying me the right to give her a kidney. One of the associate warden wrote in there, well, when whatever happened, we got a psychiatrist here and we got ministers here. Basically, he telling me, you know what he telling me.
Yeah.
So I wrote him up. I sent it out to all the senators and congressmen, the president, everybody, right? So at that time, Obama was president. So I wrote him to ask him to give me clemency because they refused to let me go to Carolina.
Okay.
To the hospital there.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go there so I could, let them take the kidney and give it to her.
Right.
So they tricked me and told me when I was in Oxford, they told me, said, well, we're going to transfer you so that you can go and give her the kidney. They sent me to Louisiana. So when I got to Louisiana, I raised so much hell. Then they sent me to Arkansas. So when they sent me to Arkansas, I was trying to get to Carolina for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Because I wanted to meet Madoff and learn the stock business from him.
Okay.
So, but see, God have plans for you that you don't even know what he planning,
Right.
So they transferred me after 31 days, they transferred me from Louisiana to Arkansas.
Okay.
So when I get to Arkansas, I'm hating it. So I talked to the counselor there, and he turned out to be a great individual.
Okay.
So he said, Walls, he said, I'm a Christian. And he said, I don't believe in what they want me to do where you concerned. He said, I'm not going to take part in that. Because, the motion that I filed put me on the blacklist with every hack throughout the system.
Wow.
So he said, I'm not going to carry that torch.
So they just wanted to just really just keep you there, period, no matter what.
They wanted me annihilated.
Wow.
Yeah. So, because, they behind what I filed.
Right.
I filed my motion 3 months before all that jumped off in prison. I filed that motion 3 months before then.
Wow.
And I described what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in a spiritual mode.
Yeah.
And I, wrote this motion, man, and I described everything that was going on there, and I described what was going to happen behind what was going on.
Okay.
And it happened that way.
Wow.
But
and 77 is when you was released, correct? Or 70?
no, I didn't get released until 20.
In the year of 2020?
What was it, Sean?
Yeah, 2020 the second time.
2020, April
Oh,
2020.
okay, so you just been out 5.
Yeah,
Okay, it's just 5 years.
5 years, yes.
Wow, you have, okay.
Yeah.
So you got released, but like you said, you put your emotions and you did all that on your own?
Everything.
Everything on your own?
Yeah.
And the judge finally released you?
No, he didn't. When I went back to court,
The judge didn't release you?
after I dismissed the motions,
That he asked you to do, and he
Yeah.
would give you this deal.
right, my daughters and them begged me to give up the fight and go on and dismiss the motions and come home.
Okay.
So I'm valuing, I need to give her this kidney. This fight ain't worth her life being put in danger when I can go on and get a kidney, and
Yeah.
this way I can go, get out.
Right.
So I went on and signed to dismiss all the motion. Man, that man wrote an order. He said an order that I dismissed those motions willingly because they was all frivolous anyway,
So he just flipped the script on you just like that.
just like that.
Wow.
But I knew,
Did you knew he was gonna do that?
yes, I knew.
Okay, that's why you didn't want to.
I didn't
And
want
your kids was like, "No, just do it." But you knew.
I knew.
Okay.
I told them that he wasn't going to live up to what he said,
Okay.
and
he did.
he did. But it backfired on him
Okay.
because one of my daughters, my other daughter, filed a motion. When she filed a motion, he was getting so much heat from, I had filed 7 motions for him to recuse himself.
Mm-hmm.
The Court of Appeals said, we don't see any fault in this man. So now, when I come back and I file, after he dismissed all these motions and everything, right? Then I appealed that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first filed the notice of appeal, everybody telling my other daughter, telling her not to send the motion
Okay.
because all he doing is hurting himself. He antagonizing the judge. I can't antagonize him no more than he already been antagonized.
Right.
So therefore, I didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting around there waiting on a brief, and I'm study asking her, did you file my notice of appeal? Yeah, Dad, I filed it. So I said, something ain't right. So I go to my counselor. I said, look, man, I need to call the Court of Appeals and find out what's going on with my motion.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because something ain't right. So when I called the Court of Appeals, man, they tell me that you don't have nothing pending here. You don't have no motion or nothing pending. You don't have no appeal pending. I said, I do. So my counselor, he stepped up for me, man. He was a real champion. He said, look, I printed it off for him, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I know for a fact it went in the mail. Man, when he said that, the girl said, send it back to me. He said, I'm going to personally take it and mail it myself. So I went to my cell and got a copy of it, gave it to him, put it in the envelope, he mailed it for me.
Okay.
So once he mailed it, now they registered that I got this appeal going. In this appeal, the Court of Appeals know that this man did what he did. They know I ain't dismissed the motion over a 20-year period,
Right.
free and willingly, you know. And they looked at the transcript and they could see the things that I said, because they changed the whole transcript, you know. So finally, when my other daughter filed a motion, she turned around and filed a motion, and she said, "Dad, the judge is going to let you out." So I said, "Yeah, well, baby, we'll see this." She said, "Dad, I swear, I talked to his clerk, and she said that he's going to let you out. But what it is, the appeal I got going is putting a lot of heat on him."
Okay.
So now, my other daughter, she is messing with the case. So I call her and I tell her, I said, "Look, whatever you do, leave this alone and let him go ahead and let me out."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "He don't have the jurisdiction to let me out, but in order to shut this down, he's going to do it." I said, "So let him go on and do it, and I ain't going to have no paper or nothing, you know." She, at that point, made a decision that she called the judge's clerk and told them that she had power of attorney and that I didn't want him on my case or nothing.
Oh.
And man, the prosecutor filed a motion and told him that he didn't have jurisdiction.
And that was the one, even though he didn't, but he still was going to let.
He was still going to do it to cover himself.
Right. But when your daughter called,
He couldn't do it.
he couldn't do it. And so, from that taking place, how much longer did you have to stay in?
By the grace of God, I thought I was going to have to do another year or year and a half before I got everything back in order.
Mm-hmm.
So my case manager came to me. He said, "Felix," he said, "the judge want me to tell you." I said, "I don't want to hear it." He said, "The judge said that he would dismiss your case if you withdraw your Court of Appeal appeal." I said, "Brother, ain't no way in the hell I'm gonna withdraw that appeal." He said, "You know what?" He said, "I agree with you." And I told him, I said, "You can tell him this. He said, "I ain't gonna tell him that." He said, "But I'll let him know how you feel about not dismissing your appeal." So he himself filed a motion to the Court of Appeal to dismiss my appeal and assured the Court of Appeal that he was going to release me.
Oh, the judge did?
Yes.
Okay.
The prosecutor told him, say, "You can pull one of those motions that Mr. Walls done filed and give him his relief based on that." So I had a compassion release motion that the doctors, the warden, the head warden in Washington,
Okay.
the head of the Bureau of Prison,
Okay.
Director Bureau of Prison,
Mm-hmm.
had granted me compassion release. And when I first filed it, like I did another 4 years because he refused to honor the compassion release. He denied it
Okay.
and talked about me like, man, said I should come out in a box. You know? Yeah. He wrote a vicious motion, man. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
But you end up getting released.
I got released.
Okay.
And then when he did the order, he sealed the order.
Okay.
Anytime you see an order sealed in federal court, 9 times out of 10, the guy's an informant. They
Okay.
seal his record. So he sealed the motion. So I had to make him open the motion so that anybody who wanted to get it could get it. Because guys, you know, they said, well, he couldn't have got out. He had to tell on somebody to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing. As of now, too.
Yeah, because they don't believe. Because, see, if you don't fight, like I know guys been in there for 40 years, and they ain't never been in the library. So you going to remain there.
Yes.
Because you ain't raising no hell, and you ain't point. See, that's like under the 13th Amendment. It says that, you know, once you've been duly convicted of a crime, then we can make a slave out of you.
Exactly.
So that's what they going by, you know. So if you sit there and don't say nothing, then ain't nobody gonna do nothing.
That is so true.
You know.
And I mean, your story is just, you know, from the beginning to the middle to the end is just. I mean, we can just stay here and talk for another hour. It's so much.
Let me tell you something. My whole life story, bro. We would be talking until next year,
right?
Because you know I live these things.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yes. Because
when I walked the yard, you know, I already knew that everything was stacked against me.
Yeah.
So, you know, even though I'm armed, you know, ain't nothing I can do with an army, but I'm gonna do the best I can.
Right.
You know?
Like you said, in the streets, it was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a one-man army.
I was a one-man army in the street, but then when you go in, you one man facing an army.
Yeah.
And that, what would you say? You know, we got 5 minutes left. What would you say to this generation? Because I've seen a lot of people come out of prison. I do a lot of returning citizens. I do a lot of wrongful convictions. I do exonerees and things like that. I have to say this, 83 years old, brother, you don't look like you did no hard time in prison.
Well,
I mean, you look well.
Well, let me say this, bro. When you in that law library, you know, that basically I was never in prison mentally.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Physically, I was busy, had to watch my back.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they doing or what they saying.
Yeah.
So you always in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like they would search my cell every day looking for weapons, you know?
Really?
And it just, man, you know, like...
It's a lot on your mental, isn't it?
Yes. And I can't speak on all of it, but, you know, like, I called my daughter one day, right? And I was so fed up with everything that was going on. And I said, well, baby, if I don't call you no more, I said, don't worry about me. Just, you know, y'all do the best you can to make it. And I went to the yard to try to confront, you know, like who pushing buttons on me.
Yeah.
You know, and by the grace of God, you know, he didn't let it take place, you know. Yeah.
That is, man, that is powerful. What would you say to this generation? Because
I would say to them is this, brothers, you know, like, this is something that you may not know, but when you enter into the drug game, it's just like you going to the airport to buy a ticket or a bus ticket to get on the bus to go somewhere. You're going to definitely end up in prison. Now, the way you do what you do, you can take mom, dad, sister, brother, and everybody with you. Because if you got them buying things in their name for you, all you're doing is setting up a conspiracy. So to say to you, I can show you a way, not, I'm talking about legally,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because God ordained me as, you know, while I was in prison.
Right.
And I accepted the covenant that he set for me to do.
Yes.
I had to be by my daughter's bed
Yes.
for 2.5 years,
Uh-huh.
you know. And, you know, here I got a brother that I done, you know, gave him $500,000. He don't remember none of that when I come back.
Wow.
Filed an eviction to evict me out of the house after my daughter put the house together for him. So I'm saying that to say this to the youngsters, man. If you work 2 jobs and put your money aside with all this electronics and all these new day out here, you can become a millionaire without even doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And believe me, you know, the things that God showed me, I would love to show them to brothers. And there's brothers that can testify to you what I was able to help them to do.
And we've talked a lot, and you have helped a lot of people. And so I want everybody to know too, from this show, Felix will be launching his podcast.
Yes.
All right, he will be doing his podcast. And what's the name of your podcast show going to be?
The 4 M's.
The 4 M's.
My Mind Move Mountains.
My Mind Move Mountains.
Yes.
So we're excited from this show to announce you telling your life story that you're getting ready to launch your podcast, and you want to empower these young black men out here
To learn to follow one thing. My Mind Move Mountains.
to follow. Y'all hear that? One thing, my mind, move mountains.
Attention,
So
library
listen,
patrons. The library will be closed in 30 minutes.
we thank you. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you, brother,
Yes.
because you is one of the few honest men that I have talked to that is not going to take what I say and add this, that, and other, and then, you know, how do they say it? Make it blossom out to
Yes.
your benefit,
Right.
like the tape that they released regarding me.
Yeah,
This is something that they using that to make money.
right.
You know,
Right.
Well, see, I'm not gonna glamorize. No, I'm not gonna glamorize anything, and I'm most certainly not gonna glamorize a lie.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because you take this lie, and you can influence 10,000 youngsters to go out and say, "Well, if he did it, I can do it."
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you that it wasn't that way.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so I don't want you. This is why I turned down the movies and all these other things.
Yeah.
Because I ain't trying to have no youngster to demonstrate, because I lost a son, you know, while I was
Okay.
gone.
Yeah.
So, and my son could have been a lawyer, he could have been anything. he
Yeah.
wanted to be,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yes.
So, I ain't trying to glamorize none of these youngsters to follow my footsteps.
Respect.
You know, I want to be
Respect.
able to show them that there's another step that you can follow,
Respect.
and you're going to have everything you want.
I love that.
You know?
I love that. That's just respect, and that is real. And one more thing before we close, you know how they talk about the OGs of today. A lot of young men say today that our OGs are failing them. You know, like what you're getting ready to do is to empower, and you're like, hey, I'm not glamorizing what I did. All right, I'm telling my story, but I'm not here to glorify it. I'm trying to let you know what I did. I don't want you to go that way.
Well, you know, I'm going to say this. You know, God ordained me as a financial messiah, you know?
Yes.
So, the things that he put on my mind when I lay down for them 27 years,
Yeah.
I would love to just say to the young man here, bro, take this, you know, and go make you $1 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And show them that you don't need all of these millions of dollars to make me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need but a little bit to make it. You know, I learned that from my grandmother.
Yeah.
When we had a pump.
Yeah.
I'm pumping this pump, pumping it and pumping it.
Yes.
She got up, come down there with a gold dip of water and poured in there. And she said, now you can pump an ocean if you got the strength.
Exactly.
You
Brother, so much respect for you. I'm honored.
Same
I really am. I'm honored and I'm privileged. You know, you could have went on anybody podcast on a major level platform. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm just me. I like to keep it real. A lot of people have all this fancy stuff and fancy equipment. And I tell people do what you do. I'm not down on nobody, hating on nobody. But I always tell people it's the content that people are looking for, okay? What you're putting out there. And, you know, I'm about bringing awareness. I'm about, you know, this is the platform where anyone can come and share their story. And I've been waiting on this and been so excited. And we've been talking. And I want to thank your daughter. I want to thank your other daughter. You know, I was able to meet you through your other daughter, and I met her through, she introduced me to somebody out of Chicago. It's just like, I just learned in life, when you do the right thing for the right reason, and your heart is in the right place,
Oh, yeah.
God will elevate you.
Man.
No matter who come to try to rob, kill, destroy, whatever. When your heart is in the right place and your motives are right and your actions are right, God is not going to do nothing but elevate you. So I'm honored to even be in your presence and to hear your story, and for you to come out at 83, everything that you've been through, everything that you had to endure, and to see you standing here like you my age, all right? Okay?
Thank
and
you.
ready to move, but you're ready to move on. You're ready to get out. And so whatever I could do, pointers, anything that I can do to help you succeed, bringing awareness with your podcast, you already know I'm here.
I already
All
know,
right?
brother.
We locked in.
Brother, I thank you so much because, you know, my heart tells me, you know, where's a good person and a person that's, you know.
Yes.
And when I talk to you and you say, bro, I'll show you how to set your podcast up.
Yeah.
And you know how many people I done talked to about helping me to put my podcast together?
Yeah.
And they gonna show me the complicated and all the expensive equipment.
Yeah. You don't need all that. I got this tripod and this iPhone.
Man.
All right, got over 6,000 followers and growing. Okay,
Brother, I'm
and
telling you.
growing, and it's growing, and it's growing. And I've talked to people from all over the country, got followers from all over the country. It's because of the content.
Well, I want,
you know.
one thing I want is for your followers, each one of them, I want them to call 10 people and tell them to call 10 people and have them to review this.
Yes, y'all hear that? Tell,
Yeah.
look at the camera and tell them.
I want you to have all of your followers to call 10 people and have them to watch this. And then all the people you call, tell them to have 10 people to watch it.
Yes.
And if you, anytime that you want me back on this show, you call and let him know and I'll come. Because I know that this brother mean good, mean well. And my whole thing now is I want to start the setting up the homeless shelters and the
Okay.
warming centers.
Yeah.
This is what I'm targeting right now.
So much. I know you said you came on this show, but you were supposed to be in California.
I was supposed to be in California talking to a home builder out there that build prefab homes.
Okay.
And I was supposed to sit down with him and do a contract with him to start building these homes and setting this factory up.
All right.
You know,
You get ready to do big things.
brother, I can't even begin to tell you how big it's gonna be.
All right. I'm excited. I'm excited for you, and I'm pretty sure they are. We've had so many people watch this show, and the people that just stayed and watched this show, I was looking at up there, you had quite a few that stayed and watched this whole show.
Okay.
So thank you all for tuning in to Heart to Hearts
Thank you
podcast
so
with
much.
Nate Frazier, the life of Felix Walls. God bless you all. Love you all. And remember, your followers have 10 of them call 10 of their followers. And you know what? This powerful story, let's make this go viral.
One thing I want to say, one last thing. Donald Trump is not as big as God.
Amen.
You know,
And that's the gospel right there.
I want you to know that.
He's not.
Because I wouldn't be out of prison if it wasn't before God.
Amen.
You know.
So true. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. Heart to Hearts podcast. All right, we are out of here.